I want to start today with this. Why are we so ungrateful? Why do we find ways week in and week out to criticize a playoff team? Why do many of us not want to see the Bears in the playoffs? I don't get it. I don't understand. I know the Bears have flaws, no question. Quarterback, head coach, GM, personnel, I get it. But I saw a lot of people infuriated about them getting in. Extremely unhappy. They're rooting for a rebuild. They're rooting for tanking. They're rooting to be the New York Jets. And I don't like that. I don't accept that at all. Do you understand how rare this feat is? Seriously. I'm 20 years old. In my entire life, I have 3 memories of the Bears getting in. Super Bowl 2006, kind of remember it. 2010, remember more. 2018, I'll never forget. That's it. This isn't New England. Doesn't happen every year. This is Chicago. When the Bears get in, it's a big deal. 8-8, 12-4, 15-1, doesn't matter. They're in. It just shocked me the amount of criticism and negativity and hate that went along with the Bears getting in. Yes, they lost to Green Bay. It was a tough game. The defense didn't do anybody any favors. Mitch played okay. Not going to argue with his completion percentage. A lot of the throws were short, but still. You've got people blaming Mitch for the Packers' loss. People neglecting the fact that the Bears gave up a ton of yards defensively and dropped 3 picks. And then on top of it, people unhappy that the Bears got in. What the hell is wrong with you? Sincere question. What's wrong with you? Are you that hard bent on getting Mitch out, getting Nagy and Pace out, that you'd rather see this team just completely stink it up? I didn't hear anyone say anything after the Cubs won the World Series, and they went down each and every year, and people to this day are still complaining that they're rebuilding. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. So the Cubs are a legitimate World Series contender to you, where they stood before the Yu Darvish trade, but you're mad about the Bears getting in, going 8-8. You want a full rebuild there. Give me a break. The Bears have flaws, yes, but they got in for a reason. Oh, it was a new spot just added. Who cares? They're in. They made it. The Washington football team is 7-9. I don't see anybody complaining over there. I don't see people saying we need a rebuild. This was horrible. No, they're celebrating. Because that's what you're supposed to do when you make the playoffs. Even the Giants, who went 6-10, consider their season a success. No complaining, no rebuild, none of it. But people here are complaining about an 8-8 team getting into the playoffs. Boy, are we entitled. Are we spoiled? Enjoy this. Enjoy it. You know, I've said this before on the program. I'll say it again. Be careful what you wish for. And I mean it in every sense of the word. Be very careful what you wish for. Do you want to be the New York Jets? Sincerely. Is that what you want? I know Jets fans personally, And I see them all over Twitter and social media. Every single week. They're clamoring for a loss. Oh, please lose so we can get the number 1 pick. Is that who you want to be? The Bears are in the playoffs, but that's what some people want. You don't want just mediocre. You want downright awful, right? That's the signal I get. Why? Oh, we need to rebuild. But why? They're in. Enjoy it. Believe me, it's going to end very soon. And the Bears will be back in 5-11, 4-12, 3-13 mode. That won't be fun for anybody. Do we have short-term memory? Are we forgetting what happened before the Matt Nagy era? I think we are. Every single year, mired in mediocrity, head coaching changes, front office changes. Jay Cutler getting hurt. Who's the quarterback going to be? Have we forgotten about that? It seems like it. Because apparently that's what people want. They want those years back. Well, I'm sorry to break the news to you, but you're sure as hell not going to get them. Not this year. They're in. Do you really want to be the New York Jets? Is that what you want? Think long and hard about that team and about where they are and about where you want the Bears to be. Why aren't we grateful? Maybe Mitch isn't the guy. Okay, fine. He still wins. He is a winning quarterback. We said that last week. The number 1 characteristic is winning. You could have all the talent in the world. If you don't win, you mean nothing. Deshaun Watson went 4-12 this year. Good numbers, but did he help his team win? Technically, no. Numbers don't mean everything. If you're a good game manager, if you calm down your team, if there's stability at your position and you play with a cool head, that should be appreciated too. You could throw for 5,000 yards. You could have 50 touchdown passes. If your team is losing, if they can't get into the postseason, it means nothing. We have to acknowledge that. Yeah, Mitch didn't throw the ball well deep, although he did hit Mooney. Nice pass. Yeah, he had 1 pick, and everyone's going to argue that somehow that played into the end of the game, played into the game's result, which it didn't. The game was already over. I've already heard it. I've heard people make that case. It's stupid, but whatever. The point is, though, the Bears win under Mitch. I know it really hurts you, but they win under Mitch Trubisky. That's what they do. Look at his record. Wins on a QB stat. Really? You think so? Because to me, it makes a big difference when someone else is in for the Bears besides Mitch. And it's like that for a lot of different quarterbacks in the NFL. Would you rather have Tom Brady play or his backup? Let's compare the records of Tom Brady and his backup. Then tell me wins mean nothing. They mean something. They do. Maybe not all the way up here. Maybe they're not a big deal, but they mean something. They indicate something. They indicate you're stable. You can help your team win. You make guys around you better. That stuff is indicated with a winning quarterback. Just like the win in baseball. Same thing. People don't understand that, though, and they don't want to admit it. That's the one thing that Mitch has going for him, and it kills people. Oh, he can't do this. He's a fraud. He's a fake. He wins. And they still find ways to tear him down. Every week. We see it every single week. It's so old. Stop sipping the delusion. Please. For your own sake. The Bears are in the playoffs. It should be a joyous, happy occasion. They face the Saints, who could be without Alvin Kamara. What if the Bears win? What if they go on a run? What are we going to say then? It's a fluke, right? Unprecedented, won't happen again. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if the Bears somehow won the Super Bowl, I guarantee you there'd be people finding ways to delegitimize it and to kick everybody out. If the Bears win the Super Bowl, how crazy is this? Everyone still might leave. What other organization in the NFL would do that besides the Bears right now? What other fan base would clamor and beg for that besides the Bears right now? Put that into perspective for a second. We're way too harsh on this team. Way too harsh. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch and to see this from people. They got in for a reason. Who cares about the extra playoff spot? The AFC needed it. AFC had a 10-win team miss. The 7-9 Washington football team is happy as could be today. But the Bears, their fan base, everybody involved is dismayed and bitter. What's wrong with that picture? Think to yourself, when will I see this again? We don't know. It's not like the Cubs where, okay, after 2016, you knew they were getting in. Didn't know how far they would go, but they got in. 2018, 2019, they contended. We knew. We genuinely don't know after this year when the Bears will be in the playoffs again. We don't. No clue. Could be next year, but their schedule looks pretty tough, and who knows who's coming back. So let's cherish this. Let's be happy about it. Let's root for them to win. I know it's going to be hard for a lot of people. Hard to root for Mitch, to root for Nagy and Pace, but it's possible. You could do it. It's not that hard. Do you love the organization more than the personnel within it? Do you love the history of the Bears? Do you love all the greats that played before this current team? If you say yes, then you will be rooting for the Bears on Sunday. And if you say no, then you're not a true fan. Plain and simple. That's the differentiator. Do you support the franchise? Do you like the franchise? Or do you want some personal vendetta to be fulfilled? That's what it comes down to. And unfortunately, a lot of people would love to see that personal vendetta be fulfilled. And if you get it, good for you. I just find it hypocritical. The Cubs were on a downturn for years after the World Series. To this day, people are mad. But with the Bears, they make the playoffs. Rebuild anyway. That's pretty weird, isn't it? Maybe it's only me. I'm delusional anyway, according to a lot of people, when it comes to Trubisky and this team. I'm the one who's in the wrong. Sure, whatever. Be excited. Be happy. about this. I remember 3 playoff appearances in my lifetime. That's it. Some who are older remember the Super Bowl. Good for them. I haven't seen it. I don't know when I'm going to see that, if ever, from the Bears. So I'm going to enjoy the playoff game. I'm going to root for Mitch. I think he's already done enough to earn a 1-year deal next year. He might have done enough to earn a starting spot in a different location next year. I can see it. I believe it. So at this point, he's competing for more money. The incentive is on him. We've said that all year. Mitch has every incentive in the world to succeed. The Saints are banged up. No Kamara as of yet. Drew Brees is old. He's thinking about retirement. He's not going to win a playoff game. He's actually done not too good this year, too. Reminds me of Peyton Manning's last year in the NFL. 9 touchdowns, 18 picks, won the Super Bowl because he was carried by his defense. That's what Drew Brees is right now. Carried by the gadget players around him. Kamara, Hill, Michael Thomas is back, Emmanuel Sanders. That's who he's carried by. The Bears actually could win it. I'm being serious. There are ways in which they could pull it off. But what happens if they win? What happens if they win, then lose? We still going to be calling for total rebuild and clean house? Where does it end, is my question. If the Bears lose in the Super Bowl, are we still going to be calling for a rebuild? I think we are. I think people are. No one is satisfied with this team. And it just blows my mind. We have no right to be spoiled. Chicago sports fans have no right to be spoiled. It's not like New England. Whatever comes to Chicago should be satisfying enough. The Bears getting in, satisfying. Cubs winning the World Series, satisfying. The White Sox rebuild, satisfying. We should be celebrating. Not tearing this down. Not hoping for a loss. It's just ridiculous. All I have to say is this. Sincerely, be careful what you wish for. You don't know what you're wishing for yet. You're going to see, and you're not going to be too happy. You want to be the Jets? You want to be tanking for Trevor? Is that what you want? Yes, we went 1-15. Perfect. Yes. Rooting for a loss every week? It's going to come in a matter of time. If the Bears rebuild, you will get that for years. So be careful what you wish for. They're in the playoffs. Celebrate. I don't know when they're going to make it again. No clue. Yet to some, it's still not good enough. And I have no answer for those people. I really don't. If you want to be the New York Jets, go root for them. If you want to be 1-15, go become a Jacksonville fan. Go ahead. But don't wish that on a current playoff team. Don't be wishing, this team should have been 2-14. They should have tanked. Everyone needs to go. They're in the damn playoffs. They did something right. There may have been flaws. There may have been hiccups. There may have been problems. But they did something right to be in this position today. That should be celebrated and cherished, not torn down. And I'm sick of seeing it. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Bill Rodgers comes up next. So So stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You must be 21 plus. You must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. NFL playoffs, Bears Saints going on, college basketball, college football, and the NBA is back too. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money and get a whole lot more back. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.